Over the 30 years I've been investing in tax defaulted properties, I've never attended a single auction where everyone in the room played the game correctly. When I go to auctions, if there are 100 people there, on average, 60% are just there to watch. It's like being at a tennis tournament and they're watching the bids go back and forth as if they were at Wimbledon. And out of the remaining 40%, only 20% of those, at the most, know how to play the game correctly, which leaves an astounding 92% of the people at tax defaulted auctions are going about bidding for bargain properties all wrong. And this is why thousands of people lose their assets after buying at the auction. This episode is good for you because I'm going to reveal what the 92% are doing wrong so you can be part of an exclusive and savvy small group of 8% knowing what you're doing at the next tax defaulted auction. I'm Ted Thomas, and for over 30 years, I've been teaching students how to make full-time money working just a few hours per week investing in tax defaulted properties. So the first thing the 92% of the people are doing wrong is they don't research. Bidders who don't research are risk takers. People who are looking to buy a tax defaulted property are looking for a bargain. I am, you are, we all are. It's not a secret. But what do most people do when it comes to the auction? They look at the county website, review the photographs of the properties listed, see which ones are the cheapest and maybe the cutest, and then put them on their list to bid. That's it. 10 minutes or so research and they're done. They might spend a huge 15 minutes and drive by if there are a lot of properties. But the savvy tax deed investor goes a lot further. Not all bargains are created equal, and for good reason. Because there are surface level bargains, those that look good at first glance, and then there are real bargains you will only find when you do the in-depth research. And everyone who's been through our training has a specific criteria when it comes to identifying those surface level properties and real bargains. This alone will disqualify a high percentage, maybe 70 or 80% of the properties listed for auctions. So you are not risking your money on something that won't make you a profit. And even if they make it this far, there's one step that will save you thousands of dollars and many sleepless nights, which I'll come to in a minute. First, narrow the list to a few qualified prospective properties. Now you have your list of potential tax defaulted properties to buy. The next step is research to determine if the properties have liens and how many, and from what source and what amount, and are they private or governmental liens? While some of the liens can be removed by the auction, not all of them will. Are you Mr. or Mrs. Beginner and prepared to handle challenges from the Internal Revenue Service liens? I can assure you the IRS will expect payment, and they have the power to seize the property, and the federal government will file a lien, which shortly thereafter will become a levy and lead to confiscation. I'm not an attorney at law or a real estate broker, but I do know you can easily research levy, and that means the government is about to take action. As with bargains, not all liens are created equal. Some you'll have to pay to the federal government right away. Some you'll be able to delete. Others may accept discounts. This is a whole training in itself, and one that all of our students receive. So you know you have a list of properties that you can potentially bid on. We've definitely not done with our research. The next step is the most vital to success of your tax deed property investment. It's a step I've been saying for over 30 years, teaching my students how to invest successfully with tax defaulted properties, and one I will continue repeating for the future. And it's the reason why it's the Ted Thomas #1 rule. And what is it? You need to get boots on the ground. This is where you're going to remove those headache investments from your list of properties to bid. As you know, tax defaulted real estate is used and abused. In many instances, the property was abandoned. The previous owner has forfeited the real estate. I don't know why, but it's been abandoned. Real estate is forfeited to the local county when the property taxes are defaulted. And because the properties are left abandoned, anything can happen to them. This is why they're sold as is. The county will claim no responsibility for the real estate or whatever the county is auctioning. The local official county treasurer is authorized by the state legislature in all states to auction defaulted, confiscated real estate as is. What you see is what you get. No promises. The county does not warranty the title to be clear of defects. This reinforces the as-is concept that we're discussing. And it's because of this, getting boots on the ground is vital for your success with tax defaulted real estate. How would you feel if you won a property that looked pretty good on the photos on the county auction website, and when you physically visited the property for the first time, all you saw was burned out, charred wood and a brick chimney standing solo where the house used to be? You might be lucky to have a chimney. You might have nothing, as Drew, one of our coaches, witnessed on one of our buying tours recently.
I just got back from the Oklahoma County auction. I ran a buying tour out there 2 months ago in the start of June. And so just as Bill and Marcia kind of outlined the point where we lead up to going out to view the properties, we broke up into groups and we all basically left from 10 to like 4 out there looking at properties. Break for lunch when you need to. And one of the great things about that is this is where we're really putting that final glance on these properties to make sure we're good to go. And so the short story I want to tell you here is we went to visit a lot. We were all surprised when we showed up to this lot because we verified the address, we verified the map, and we noticed, Google says there was a house here with a date image of March 2024. And I'm like walking through, I'm like, this house must be real invisible with some real soft walls because there's no house here. So imagine my surprise when I see an all-out bidding war taking place in the back of the room on day one between these two guys sticking their chest out, $45,000, $46,000, $47,000. It's not a house, it's a lot. Winning bidder, 49-1, goes up to the front of the room, breaks out his laptop, peeling out 10 grand stacks of cash right there, counting them out. I'm thinking, everyone's so wide-eyed, they were looking around like other people in the room knew there's no house there. But you're so like, do these guys know? And you're hoping one of them comes to their senses, but there's nothing you can do. They're at war with each other. Guy wins 50 grand. The lot with no house ain't worth 10. He got to go see what he bought after lunch. If that's what you want to do, you don't need a buying tour.
As you can see from those two bidders, if they took the time to get their boots on the ground, looked at the property, they wouldn't have been caught in the bidding frenzy at all. There was nothing there, and it happens more times than you can think. Here's another one for you. What if you purchased 3 acres of land in a subdivision, and when you show up, it's 3 acres that border the perimeter of the subdivision, only 4 feet wide, but 800 feet long, beside an 8-lane freeway separating the subdivision from the roadway? Imagine the traffic noise. 3 acres is a lot of land, but it's only 4 foot wide. It's not buildable. Also, in most instances, the county is unaware of other structures on the property. These structures may or may not have been built by following the detailed required county building codes. The new buyer will arrive and find these code violations, and before the property can be resold after the auction, all code violations must be cleared and the fines paid. Clearly, the statement of properties being sold as is and the statement no warranty is important. The circumstances may involve other encumbrances like easements and environmental challenges. Now you've got boots on the ground. You've confirmed that the property is still standing. You've determined the condition of which is used and abused. Does it fit your buying criteria at this stage? And should or shouldn't it be added to your list of properties to bid? It's not time to relax just yet, because it is here that the majority of the tax defaulted real estate investors fail, and why we focus so much on this stage in our trainings. You must identify your exit strategy before you go to the auction. You must know exactly what you're going to do with the property if you're the winning bidder before you bid. Time and time again, winners only start thinking about what they're going to do after they've got the keys, not before. We give all of our students detailed training on what their options are and how best to go about them in all of our training. Because this is where your money is made. You make your money when you buy at bargain prices at auction. You collect your money when you go to the bank with the selling proceeds. Are you going to fix or flip? Are you going to clean up and sell to a fixer or a property wholesaler? Are you going to rent it out or sell utilizing a land contract? There are many options open to you. You need to know which one you are going to execute before the auction. Armed with all this, you are now ready to bid strategically at the auction. This is a serious business that requires diligent research. Once you have the information about your prospective property investment, emotions won't be at the top of your mind. The numbers speak for themselves. You will have determined your maximum bidding price, and if the bids go above your maximum, then you'll let it go and wait for the next property to be auctioned. If the bid stops below your maximum, then you can work at getting the best possible auction price, which means you don't overbid. Once you own the property, you begin executing your exit strategy right away. Not only will you have a smile on your face from winning the bid for all the right reasons, you will also be part of the savvy 8% minority of people in the room who know what they are doing. Property evaluation isn't a secret, and it's not difficult. It's a learnable skill that will save you thousands of dollars, and in many instances will cause you not to bid and spend your hard-earned money on a property that just won't sell. And it's why we've been conducting tax-defaulted buying tours for more than a decade. The point is, experience is certainly important. To get you experience, we get the tax-defaulted property auction list, and then we invite 8 to 10 people to travel with an experienced coach to establish which properties are worthwhile following our specific criteria. And then we physically visit the property. After reviewing the properties and the neighborhood, we determine and estimate the property value and the after repair expenses and much, much more. This is done with you live with your experienced coach, step by step. Buying tours give you a whole new perspective and a lot of confidence working with experienced coaches to help you evaluate the best properties to invest. Doing so with friendly, like-minded people at a buying tour makes a huge difference because you'll be discussing property evaluations for 2 or 3 days nonstop while you're at the buying tour. Now, even if you make it as part of a select group of knowledgeable top 8% of the bidders in the room, there are certain things that tax deed experts do that most tax defaulted property investors don't. To find out exactly what they are, click the link on the video now or the link in the description below.